Oops. Live. Good afternoon and welcome to episode 2 of the Freedom Stars, the people who have coincided with our 10,000 number. So today we have Mr. Sudheer Jain, who's number 9999. So we're going to have a long, quick chat with him, just like we did yesterday with Mrs. Pai from Bangalore. And Sudhir ji, welcome.
Thank you, sir.
कैसे लग रहा है? Which batch are you from, Sudhir ji?
I am from 71 batch.
71 batch. And how is it feeling?
Great.
Hmm?
I
आप
never
ही बोलो.
imagined.
So tell us a little bit about the backstory about.
Uh, okay, I just about 1.5 months back, my mother had some serious issues related to diabetics.
Hmm.
So I was also worried about myself because I am diabetic for last 23 years.
Hmm.
And then I just come to know about this freedom from diabetes. I just didn't believe कि ऐसा कुछ हो सकता है. So there was a chance to get this workshop done, attended. I attended the workshop, and there Dr. Tripathi was convincing that it's possible. So I joined it, and after that we have been following the things. It has been a very rapidly changing scenario. Where the changes in the diets and then the medication changes, the doctors advising the change in the medicines, and then of course intensive testing itself. We have never done it like that in a life, and then you can see the results, and then you find that things are working.
Sure. Any weight loss?
Yeah, I lost about 5 kg.
Okay.
And now I have been requesting for the last few weeks that I don't want to lose any more further. But maybe it will take time to get it
Your
stabilized.
body had been requesting you for 23 years to do something.
Right. That's right.
It happens. So that's good. But yes, all your medical files, like those files on the right now, have become thinner.
Right.
See those files there? None of those are medical files, no, on the right?
No. That's my office.
23 years of history is वो ऐसा horizontal नहीं ऐसा vertical रहेगा.
Right.
No, it's all good. So what has been your I missed asking this to you yesterday, but what was the key sort of funda that you have realized that so many years you believed something else and suddenly you have found that.
So after I got exposed to this initial workshop, then I started searching for various things also on this, that how it's becoming. And yes, now I'm convinced that this low carbohydrate. But what has been done by FFD is Indianize the whole system of low carbohydrates.
Correct.
So it is being, as I understand, is being followed at many places. I read one of the papers of 2002 published in the US Journal also, where the whole theory has been explained.
True.
So it convinced me a lot about this part. And then slowly, we learned how to go about, because you always had the chapatis as a major food, as a part of it, and that becomes your base.
Correct.
So from there to learning, my chapati is getting thinner and thinner, but still you have a chapati over there. and finally, when you see the results, of course, there have been variations. Sometimes it is spiking also.
Yes.
And then you realize that something must have been happened on that part. But about 1 week back, finally, the doctor said, okay, now no more medicines are required.
No, that's true.
Since then, it is a normal thing which is happening.
That's true. No, actually, just to give you a little perspective, the FFD diet is not really a low carbohydrate diet. It's more of what we call a clean carbohydrate diet. So
Okay.
we take away the complex, the ones which were triggering certain allergic reactions or basically non-native carbohydrates. FFD is a very native, like you said, Indianized.
Yes.
We tried very hard to, because just low carb is like putting a band-aid. You've just temporarily hidden the problem, but underneath it's going on. It's like an ulcer. So we were very keen to help it heal from within. So though, it's the refined carbohydrates that we have drifted towards, which tend to cause more of the damage. Even our native foods have slowly, with industrialization, they have got packaged and they have got processed, and yeah, to meet the needs of so many millions, this was necessary. But at
Mhm.
some extent, you just went back for a few months to your native foods, and you see how, rapidly because our genetic build-up can handle, these foods. But that's great. Now, tell me from a perspective that, what, like, I said, from a takeaway perspective, if you had to tell people, just make these two changes in which you have held on to. And that is kind of, it's not easy, 3, 4 months to keep doing something. So there must be some
No,
logic or,
no, no, no. That way, what FFT program have done to me is it has developed a good understanding of uh, what food we must take and what we must avoid. On top of that, why should we take extra food which is not required? So, like I had a habit earlier. If you're in the house or even if you're in the office, every time you're having a tea or biscuits, or every 2 hours, 3 hours, you're eating something, you are just not conscious about those facts. Now, once it has come to this part, so the discipline is now okay, we are sticking ourselves to 3 meals. And maybe if they say okay, one extra fruit, so okay, the fourth meal.
yes, yeah,
But then we are sure about the things that what we are taking now is useful to us, and it is just not loading the system which is not required. So that's a
no,
big takeaway
yeah,
for me,
true.
that this is the discipline, you can follow it.
So the knowledge has helped you a lot.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
The key has been the knowledge. And on an exercise front, what has been the learning?
Exercise front, of course, I have been a regular morning 1.5 hour
Correct,
walking and exercising scheduling. But
correct.
then when you have suggested things that I cut down on my walking period
Mm.
and then go for the exercises. So I have been trying to follow largely. Of
Yeah,
course, I
yeah,
am still satisfied only up to 50 to 60% extent.
correct,
But then it has changed that process. What exercises are important and why only walking is not sufficient.
correct.
That is the a good thing which I have learned about it. And then, of course, anti gravity exercises,
Yes,
which is the I have understood the whole concept.
yeah,
How does it help
yeah,
temporarily for us
correct.
during this period, and then keeping our body in a low blood sugar environment for a
Yeah,
longer period of the time.
yeah, helps it
So
heal.
that I have
Yes.
understood,
Mm,
and that is what I'm seeing that, and I sincerely follow it.
mm,
And since morning breakfast is a predominantly a protein and salad diet,
correct.
I find the energy level is very high.
Mm,
There is no hesitation in climbing up almost
correct,
300 steps whole in the whole of the day. You
correct.
feel good to do it,
Wonderful.
and when you see the results, it makes you a lot more satisfaction. In normal course, you would not do that. You would never be doing that.
Yeah. You're moving from one lethargic cycle to another lethargic. You eat a meal, you feel drowsy, and you eat another meal, you feel drowsy. So yeah, we
That's right.
should
That
calorie
has been the
dumping.
normal.
Yeah, that has
Yes,
been the normal. So we
the
call that
norm.
calorie dumping.
Yes,
There's a
yes,
lot of
correct.
dumping there. And these are predominantly the medication also. Ek
Yes,
to your morning walk is a
yes,
huge appetite stimulant. So you get hungry, which is why we reduce the walking.
yes.
Because and then to add to it, diabetic medication. They are
Right.
called oral hypoglycemics. So they do cause hunger. So they
Yes.
cause hunger. Walking causes hunger. Then a person keeps eating. When he eats,
Right.
the
Right.
sugars are high. He's again low energy. So,
Yes.
most diabetics are stuck in this vicious cycle of low energy all day. So it's
Correct.
either the medicines or the wrong exercise combined with high sugars. So now that you
And the
have brought,
fear, and the
and the
fear of
the fear,
hypos, fear of
yes,
hypos, which everybody
yeah,
pushes you. Okay, take something every 3 hours.
and high glycemic, like a
Yes.
banana or something.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
Yes. Yes.
again, like, I mean, I'm just giving you some information tips, but to give you an example, when we analyze the Indian diet, there is always carbohydrate, protein, and fat. Whether you take native foods or non-native foods, there is still, it's this broad spectrum. But then we go and add dairy to it as a separate food group. If
That's
that's
right.
not enough, we add bakery to it. If bakery is
Mm-hmm.
not enough, we add outside food to it. And
That's
if you're
right.
not done with outside food, we add fruits.
That's
Now,
right.
if you take 7 pieces of the Indian diet, it's a little
Mm.
difficult for your system to cope with. so much. So I think,
Mhm.
like you said, you have now learned the balancing art of, it finally comes down to what you put in in from here.
And then you don't feel
You don't feel the
weakness.
need. Yeah, you don't feel
Because
the.
in my family also, when my wife started, she said ki you are cutting it down too much,
Yes,
or
yes,
like that. But then I found that I'm not feeling the need to eat more.
yes,
And there is no, officially, there is no restriction on the diet. I can eat as much
yeah,
as I want, provided I maintain the proportions.
yes,
That's the right thing to maintain.
perfect. Yes,
That's
the
right.
stimulants have gone. Na? The artificial
Yes,
stimulants of hunger have gone.
that's
The
right.
walking, the medication, and the high sugars. So this, you've it's a really good. And any give us some family, family. What is the family's got to say about?
Uh, my wife is helping me a lot, though she herself is not yet convinced.
Fair enough.
My doctors are also not convinced. They're telling, how can you
Yeah.
keep like this for a very long time? But then I have been arguing with them and some of my friends also, that if something is good for you,
Yeah.
you will maintain it for life. Why not? So that is a process it is going on. But otherwise, they are cooperating and they are helping me out in all these meal proportions and timely food. And we have learned to develop a lot of dishes in the
Yes.
process,
Yes.
which are good. Uh, so that has been a good learning on that front of the food items also in the house.
It creates that one-time shift in the. It's like, in lifestyle medicine, we find that it's called the 80-20 principle. 80% people do the right thing anyway. It's the
Mm-hmm.
20% that was creating the problem. So
Correct.
once you take away the 20%, which namely maybe the walking, maybe the bakery, maybe the dairy, it suddenly causes the body to just, jump back into
Right.
action. So I think, like you've very well articulated that in the family level, you have just changed a few things. But I
Yes.
find it amazing that humans have to ponder over whether something that gives them high energy levels is sustainable.
Yeah. That's right. That's right.
I
That's
mean,
right. That's right. That's right. That's right.
I really find that odd that something like exercise, people tell me I can't exercise all the time. I said, I'm amazed you can't exercise. Like, do you have a better option for high energy levels? If you have
Mm,
a better option, go do that.
mm.
I mean, something that keeps you healthy, waking up fresh. I mean, how can that not be sustainable? I think,
Okay. Not only that, there is a myth that if you're taking protein in
yeah,
all three meals, then
yeah,
being diabetics, it's not good for the kidney.
kidneys.
But then I read it somewhere that that's a myth. That's a big myth. That's not correct to say. If you are a healthy person, then the proteins help you, and they are required for the body.
The problem is we can't eat unlimited carbs.
Yes, that's right.
Then we have to go somewhere. So if you're not going to go to protein or to fats, we're going to go to bakery or dairy. At the
Right.
end of the day, it becomes a big khichdi of the whole thing. So I think, like I said, you have very intelligently solved the crack the code. Are you planning to start up a mini FFD at your end? If
Not
not,
exactly mini FD, but I have been encouraging many of my
yes,
friends and many of my family members, and many people are convinced also on this part
yes,
that yes, of course, because once you have done it, you have achieved it,
mm,
then they can see it live.
yeah,
Otherwise, the stories are for very long time. The last 25 years or 23 years, we have been hearing only this part. Diabetes,
mm,
you have to live with the medicines. There is no
yes,
other way.
yeah,
So this is a great feeling that
mm,
maybe for the last 10 days, I have not taken even a single medicine related to diabetes. I've also dropped the cholesterol medicines which were given, statins which are given, and I have also dropped my blood pressure medicines. And
yes.
we are feeling much more normal. That's it. Psychologically, that's a great feeling. And when you see the results, then you really feel good about it.
It's like you said, most people who pass out become influencers. You know,
Hmm.
so you're
Uh-huh.
now, to quote the new generation, you're
Yes,
now
yes,
going to
yes.
be an influencer. So just last question. I mean, would you like to share some of your work profile, like, the kind of work hours? A lot of people ask us this question, being working, how
Yes.
do we do this?
Yeah, I'm a basically a civil engineer and I'm working for the railways
Yeah.
for the last 33, 34 years. Currently, my age is around 60 years. And of course, in between, we have to move on the sides and we have to go there also. And like office is a study office working is there. So we are trying to adjust the timings. It's not so like for the exercise purpose. What I simply do is when I come to the office, instead of coming at the ground floor, I take my car to the basement.
Okay.
The driver comes with me.
Nice. Yeah.
So he drops me in the basement, and my office is on the second floor. So I climb up three floors, just one floor high, and then come back. So that way my anti-gravity is done. And similarly in the house also, where we are living on the fourth floor. So I go by lift once down and then come up all the way. And slowly, slowly it is becoming a habit that you have to do it. And sometimes if that nitrous dump in the chamber, that can also be supplemented with that purpose. So exercise part, which is the most difficult part of it, because you have to do it 3-4 times. This is how it has to be managed, and it can be done. There is no problem about that.
So you've used civil engineering to the
yeah, that's right. I'm a specialist in the bridge works, which I do for the railways. So that's the area which we do.
Nice. So you have used civil engineering. You have used the buildings only to solve your problem at the end.
That's
of the
right.
day.
That's
Up
right.
and down
That's
the
right.
buildings.
Now to be more to be specific, tracks. Because civil engineers work for the railway tracks in the railway system.
Brought you back on track.
Yes. So I have come back on the track.
Wonderful.
That's right.
Good. That's good. Remember, diet initiates reversal, exercise sustains it.
That's right.
So finally, next phase will be even more exciting for you once you head to the gym and start building muscle, and you'll become a builder.
That's right.
Yes. Which is the final.
Looking eagerly for that.
Yes, the next phase of civil engineering. So, that'll be wonderful. And any message you want to share for? Have you done your second set of reports yet?
Yeah, I've done it.
Okay, and your A1C has corrected.
And that is one good thing which I always say to the people, that your 14-point testing procedure, they identified two particular items in my case. One was this uric acid levels, and second was the creatinine levels. Both were at the upper 90% of the upper limit. And then the doctors decided that we have to bring down them to around 70% levels. So uric acid levels are already down to 70%, and creatinine, they are already working on it. So it's like a complete overhauling or setting up for the system, which is going on. And the system which has been made, it makes you quite comfortable when you're talking to your exercise people, your diet people, your doctor, and when you give them message or you call them, you get the feedback and you try to do adjustments into that if something is limiting yourself in following the things. So this combination helps you to maintain yourself in the process. I call it a program. It's a program, 1 year long program. And I always say, if 1 year can give me back about 23 years of my bad experience of being in the diabetics, then it is worth spending on that part. Worth utilizing that 1 year.
20 more years of graceful aging. So
that's right.
Don't worry about
because I saw my mother, she had this diabetic neuropathy, and this condition is very critical, very typical. So nobody would like to go to that because people don't see it, so they don't feel it. That what are the end results of the long-term diabetics?
Absolutely, that's and I think it's great. Like one of our patients once told us, if only somebody had told me that ये एक चीज बंद करो तो मैंने 10, 20, 35 साल बंद किया होता. मुझे बस किसी ने बोला नहीं वो एक चीज एक ही चीज. Like for example, walking, small thing. It's not such a big change. We just told you restrict it, and now we'll bring it back. In fact, in the next month slowly, in small quantities, but. It's all, like I said, it all happens at the right time.
I go in the garden. I go in the garden in the morning. We have a walkers group.
Yes.
And now they see me doing planks there or doing regularly Surya Namaskar there. And then slowly people are adopting now, coming with us for doing the exercise. So I do the planks and the Surya Namaskar. And then one module I have been following for a very long time, that's a head to toe joints exercise.
True.
So it merges with that. So that keeps everything in steadiness.
nahin, it's wonderful. I think you're one of our, like you said, top 90% graduates of the program. You've understood the gist of, and the beauty of it is, for 20 minutes now, you have spoken mostly subjective. You have not got into the numbers too much, which is
Yeah.
what we try to tell people. Ki you understand the larger thing, because people tend to look at only, and you only mentioned the numbers when I asked, which
Mm.
is truly, a testament to your, you've really opened up your
Yes, 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 yes,
mind.
yes.
So, it's been a pleasure having you. May you have a great further reversal. And
I look forward for GTT.
uh, as if it's destined, for sure, we will
Yes,
all
yes.
push it. But let's see how it goes.
You're right.
Okay, no worries.
Right.
Thank you so much, Sudhir
Okay,
ji.
thank you. Thank you very much. Right.
Pleasure having you.
Right.
Thank you so much,
Yes.
Viraj.